Hey, what's up guys? Strict here, and today I'm here with a different kind of repair. So this time I have this Galaxy Watch 3, which we are going to be doing a screen replacement on. Basically this thing was dunked in a pool for a while and had some water damage, and it seems to have affected the screen to the point where we're gonna try to replace it, and hopefully that brings it back. So yeah, we'll find out what happens. This is my first time genuinely fixing a smartwatch. Like, I've done things like iPhones or like this Samsung right here, which I did a screen replacement, back cover replacement on. This is an S7, but as you can see, fully functional now. Home button's a different color because originally it was supposed to be a gold phone, and at the time the only replacement screen was this black one. But yeah. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and try to see if we can get this Samsung Galaxy Watch working. Yeah, honestly, I'm only taking this on because amazingly, Samsung didn't make repairing their watch impossible. Like, so if you can see it, there's these 4 Phillips screws in here on the corners, and basically some adhesive to keep water out, and that's all that holds this back cover on. So of course we're gonna go ahead and take off the band. I'm gonna put that off to the side, and we're gonna go ahead and take off these 4 Phillips screws. Okay, correction, not Phillips, it's Tri-Wing. So thank you, iFixit.com. So yeah, here's the proof that it's like so simple. I mean, obviously I'm gonna show you, but iFixit is a great resource for anyone who wants to try to repair their own tech. I've been using this literally since I've began doing things like this, so I would definitely recommend checking that out, because they're the ones that just saved me from like stripping out all these screws. All right, so there's one. I don't think they completely come out. I'm always not gonna try to pull them all the way out. It's not gonna out. Easy. Okay, and now I'm gonna go from the end with the microphone. We're gonna go ahead and pry it open. Now you do want to be careful when doing this, because there is a connector in right here on this side, which we will just go ahead and disconnect. And there we go. All right, now that we're inside of the watch, the next steps that we're going to want to do is just to unplug all of the little ribbon cables on the inside. So this one is going to be your display. And that's it. It literally just has those 3 little connections after you remove that one from the main panel. And then we'll just take a little pry tool up at the top. Maybe, there we go. And this right here, this holds your motherboard. Like, this is your whole motherboard right there, and the battery is actually underneath this. And then this is what you're left with. This is your screen. So you got the glass, and then you got the, yeah, you have the glass part of the screen, like the actual screen itself, and then you have its border. So there are 2 ways to do this repair. You either get the glass, or you get a housing with the glass installed. I of course went with the difficult route, and we're going to be removing the glass from this and doing an actual just whole screen replacement. So it is honestly as simple as just pushing on the screen and it just comes out. It does require a little bit of force, but it's not a big deal. It does come out with adhesive on it. And yeah, there we go. That is just the frame remaining. Here's our new screen. Go ahead and pull it out of its box. Now, here's something. I mean, this is kind of a given fact, but obviously doing a repair like this, do not rely on the fact that your device is going to be water resistant anymore, because we're modifying and ripping some of the gaskets and the adhesives that would typically keep this device waterproof. So I'm not going to recommend ever taking this into water again. Little splashes from rain are probably okay, but don't go swimming. Definitely don't go into the ocean. Just, yeah, don't do any of that. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and actually prep this with some adhesive, and then we will go ahead and put the new screen in. All right, so I did apply some adhesive to the screen here. Unfortunately, the screen didn't come with it, which is kind of weird because it came with this whole kit of useless tools. I don't think any of these screwdrivers in here are actually what you need to open this thing. So yeah, I did apply my own adhesive. It will certainly be enough to hold it on, but like I said, waterproofing is not guaranteed here. So let's go ahead and put the new screen in place. It does have little ways to line up in the housing, so it will line up and it will not turn. The only thing that turns is frame itself. But yeah, you'll want your power connector in at the bottom like that, and basically that's how you know it's installed. It's good to go. We have it in. That is our new watch screen installed. See if this thing hopefully turns back on. So we'll obviously want to reroute this cable through the bottom. There we go. Reroute the cable through the bottom, snap it in, snapped in just fine. And then we will need to reconnect the back panel since this is how it charges after all. So go ahead and take our back panel connector and hook it up to the board and close this thing up. And there we go, got that reconnected. Just kind of closes back together. And I will go ahead and tighten the screws. Alright, so now at this point, when you put the watch on, you should have a working device. Unfortunately, it seems like the water damage got to this so bad that the screen is permanently just not working. This is obviously a motherboard issue, so this thing is going to need a whole new logic board. But, hold on. You might be able to hear if I hold it to the microphone. You might have been able to hear that vibration. It is working. There's just no picture. And I'm not entirely sure why that would be. I mean, like I said, the motherboard itself probably has deeper water damage, and that's probably why the screen is not working. I am gonna just let this thing charge and kind of let it go for a day and see if maybe by tomorrow or so if it decides to come back, but I don't know. Alright, so in the last clip with this watch, I was trying to turn it on, see if the screen worked, and it did not. So I have a new motherboard here, and we're gonna go ahead and swap this replacement in and see if it works better. I really hope so. So we're gonna go ahead and just pull all the tiny connectors off the board, like that. And then it's just a single Phillips head screw. Okay, there we go. That's out. And then there's the board. So, I don't know, you can kind of see it there. It looks like a capacitor or something blue, and that's probably from the water. So we're gonna go ahead and see if this new board brings this thing back to life. Because, as you can see, that one is perfect. So, there's the two boards. You can kind of tell the difference in those chips right there. So, we'll go ahead and plug this in and see if we're back in business. We'll go ahead and just line that back up and then put the screw in. There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and take the server to the charger and see if it boots up. And here's a little extra tidbit while I have the motherboard out. If you were ever curious on what the processor on your Galaxy Watch looked like, well, here it is. It is this little chip right here. It was under this metal covering. Since this board is dead, you know, it's not a big deal. This is honestly just a heat shielding too. Like, this would still work if it needed to. But yeah, there you go. You got your little memory chips, RAM, and your CPU is right there. This is what powers your watch. All right, here we go. Put this down. All right, there we go. I eventually got it. Took a minute, but there it is. We have a working Galaxy Watch 3 now. That was a process and a half. Required whole new motherboard and screen. And yeah. So this is what happens if you submerge your Galaxy Watch 3 for a long period of time in the pool. I would definitely recommend not doing that, because obviously this is now factory reset, so like it's gonna have to be reset up, obviously. But you know what, it is indeed a working smartwatch again, so we'll go ahead and put the screws on the back cover again, and this will all be good to go. Alright, so now just to finish this off, we're going to put the 4 screws in the corners, which uses a tri-wing screwdriver. And this thing will be all good to go. We'll put the bands back on and things like. Alright, there we go. So things I would recommend is definitely when you reinstall your back cover, you should put on some new waterproof adhesive if you have any. I did put a gasket on around this, so it should do something for the water resistance, but like I said, I wouldn't take this out now with everything that's been done into real depths of water. But it would be okay if it gets splashed or just everyday rain or whatever. It would probably survive that, but definitely I wouldn't go swimming with this thing again. But yeah, there you go. That is how you do a full screen replacement on a Samsung Galaxy Watch, as well as a motherboard swap. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful in some way maybe, and see you in the next one.